Impact of Trump's 50% tariff on India's economy and global politics. Welcome to our channel. We are going to share about the impact of Trump's 50% tariff on India. Let's start. U.S. President Donald Trump is once again making global headlines. This time, he has launched a tariff storm, imposing a 50% tariff on Indian exports. This bold move has shaken world markets, stirred political debates, and placed India in a challenging position. But why did Trump take this decision? What does it mean for India's economy? And how could this reshape global politics? Let's break it down. In August 2025, the Trump administration announced that most Indian exports to the United States would now face a 50% tariff. This was a major escalation from the previous 25% tariff, which had already strained trade ties. The official reason? India's continued purchase of Russian oil despite U.S. pressure. By doubling tariffs, Trump sent a strong political message, not just to India, but to the world. In this regard, Brian Jacobson, analyst, has said, "This additional 25% tariff may be more symbolic than practical, since businesses were given 21 days to adjust before it takes effect. This shows the move wasn't only about economics, it was about strategy and symbolism." What impact on India's economy? India is among the top exporters to the United States. About 18% of India's exports, everything from textiles to gems to agricultural products, are shipped to American markets. That makes up nearly 2.2% of India's GDP. Data source from the Economic Times on 27 August 2025. The 50% tariff will hit some of India's most important industries. Textiles and garments, India's largest employment sector after agriculture. Gems and jewelry, a key foreign exchange earner. Agricultural exports, grains, spices, and processed food products. UBS analysts warn, nearly $8 billion worth of Indian exports are at the highest risk under this tariff hike. Data source from the Economic Times on 19 August 2025. EasyShip report adds, "This tariff could shrink India's GDP by 0.3 to 0.5% and cut exports by $4 to $5 billion annually." Data source from Business Standard on 12 September 2025. For an economy already struggling with inflation and unemployment, this shock could lead to job losses, reduced foreign exchange earnings, and stress on small businesses. Below, if we see the political and global analysis on the U.S. tariff policy consequences, and beyond economics, this tariff carries major political consequences. Edward Price, professor at NYU, explains, "Trump's policy has no clear economic or diplomatic logic. What it does risk is pushing India closer to China and Russia. This is significant. India is a critical partner in the Indo-Pacific strategy, balancing against China's influence. If New Delhi feels cornered, it may strengthen ties with Moscow and Beijing, changing the balance of power in Asia." The Council on Foreign Relations of the USA further notes that these tariffs are not just damaging ties with India. They are weakening America's relationships with allies like Europe, Canada, Japan, and Australia. In short, we can say Trump's tariff storm is not an isolated move. It's reshaping global geopolitics. What about India's response and future strategy? So how is India responding? First, diplomacy. Indian officials are holding talks with Washington, hoping to negotiate exemptions or reduce tariffs. Second, domestic measures. The government is preparing support packages for small and medium enterprises which face the highest risks. Subsidies, export insurance, and tax reliefs are being planned. Third, market diversification. India is already looking at alternative markets, expanding trade with the Middle East, Africa, and ASEAN countries. These strategies may soften the blow, but the challenge remains. The U.S. is India's single largest export market. Replacing it won't be easy. The bottom line, we can say, Donald Trump's tariff policy is more than just a trade decision. It is a strategic maneuver meant to assert U.S. dominance in global trade. But the consequences are uncertain. 1. Will India compromise and adapt to U.S. demands? 2. Will it pivot toward Russia and China, forming new alliances? Or 3. Will this tariff storm trigger a larger trade war that shakes the global economy? Above all, it can be said that the coming days may be extremely difficult for India. The United States has long been India's primary market and largest buyer. Acting against such a crucial partner is not a wise move. If the Modi government continues to take decisions driven more by emotion than by sound strategy, India's overall economy, both at the macro and micro levels, could face a severe downturn. So one thing is clear. India's economic and political choices in the next 2 years will shape not only its own future, but also the future of global trade. Thank you for watching the video.